Hello. This is for my Portfolio 8 assignment, talking about um, what I learned from this class and what my takeaway has been. I was really nervous at the beginning of the class, and I remember sitting and thinking that I really wasn't going to listen to anything that Dr. Draper said, and that there was no way that she was going to be able to change my mind or convince me to believe something different than what my original conservative, traditional beliefs were. And I was pretty closed minded. Um, but I remember one of the first things that we read at the beginning of the class was an article called Concern for the One, um, by Elder Wordlin, I believe. Wordlin. Anyways, and that's when my um, heart kind of started to change. That article talked about how it is our job on this earth to um, be there to help people who don't have as much as I do, and that everybody can um, have the same success in America as I'm able to have if they are helped. And then we talked about the equality versus equity thing, and how, and I took that as like, it's my job, somebody who has been given a lot and who has been blessed, who has privilege as a white person, to help people who don't have that privilege, and to give them more because I can. And there were some things in the class that I still were a little harder for me to grasp and to be um, like I probably wouldn't go out and start like a lot of things with the transgender and LGBTQ community is still a little hard for me, but I realized how um, I'm a part of a religion that talks about loving people and how important that is. And if I'm not talking to somebody or judging somebody before I even get to know them because of who they are, um, that's not Christ like at all. And as a teacher, when I'm going to be working with these people, I I need to know about it and I need to be okay with it and help them as well because this is going to be their life. And by me being rude or not fighting for them or helping for them isn't going to help them, or isn't even going to change who they are. It's just going to make it a miserable time for them in my classroom. Something that I also realized in this class was what a problem ignorance is. I feel like, especially in this white, middle class, Mormon culture that I'm in, um, a lot of us, at least in my experience, are pretty content with our lives and we're just going along and we kind of know that stuff's going on in the world, but we just ignore it and don't really try to learn about it. And we just have our views about it and that's what we stick with. And we just don't really associate with it. And that's kind of how I've been. It's been that attitude of, I know it's happening, whatever, it can happen. I just don't want to know about it and I don't want to be a part of it. But I realized in this class that as a teacher, I can't be ignorant because I'm going to be working with these students who are going through this kind of thing and who are dealing with these issues in the world. And I have to make a choice on who I want to be for these children. And um, and so that's changed my perspective on this class. And even though when we would show up and I knew what topic we were going to be discussing and I knew I already had my beliefs and my opinions about it, it helped me to keep an open mind because I was thinking of my students. And when I would picture a child who is either LGBTQ or is from a different race, and picturing that child and how I need to know, because I would never want to be rude or make a child feel unwelcome in my classroom. And so it is important for me to know about these things and to also inform my students so that they aren't ignorant and they are unaware of the issues, and also that they don't see an LGBTQ person or somebody from another race or who comes from a different kind of a family and see them as different and or out of the blue, just see them as a normal person. And I feel like if they are taught those things and are introduced to those things like through books and through pictures and quotes and lessons, um, then they won't. They'll. It'll just be common knowledge to them. The one other big thing that I took from this class was um, from reading the book. I read the book Honky, and um, this idea of social reproduction and how a lot of these children who come from minority groups, from cultures who don't have a lot of money, already think that they can't become and be successful because they're black or they're Mexican or they're just not given those privileges, and so a lot of them don't really try, and they don't and they end up going down the same path that their parents did and their grandparents, and it's just this constant thing that just keeps reoccurring. And it really inspired me to want to help those kids specifically, to see their potential and see that it doesn't matter that they are a different race and that they come from a poor family. They are able to be just as successful and they are just as smart as any white middle class kid who is in the classroom. Um, it really inspired me and kind of made me think about where I might want to teach and if I want to just stick with um, kind of a white middle class neighborhood. And I think if I did, then I would really want to focus on teaching, even if I had a classroom that was just all white kids. And I really would want to um, teach them about all the different things in the world and to not be surprised or look at somebody who has a different skin tone and think that they're um, different. But I thought maybe I would want to go to a school that is struggling, that doesn't have a lot of finances, and there's a lot of kids who come from hard families, to help them and to really make an impact in their lives, because that's my main goal with teaching is really impacting children. And um, so yeah, that book really made me think about help those kids become great because they are. Um, Overall, I'm really grateful for this class because it was really hard at the beginning, and I definitely felt discomfort and frustration. I felt it a lot throughout the whole class, but I definitely, and it's still a little hard because my family is, they're now a lot how I was when I first came into the class. And so they're still pretty closed off to a lot of it. But um, I think it's really important because we can't be ignorant and we have to accept that these things are happening. And are we going to love people and be charitable towards them? Or are we going to ignore them and not help them feel a part of this world, and feel important? I can see the importance of knowing this for my future classroom because we're working with people, and whether we like it or not, they're going to be different from us, they're going to have different beliefs, they're going to have different cultures, they're going to have different whatever. And it's my job to help them and to love them and to be informed um, about whatever it is that they're a part of. And so, thank you, Dr. Draper, for your lessons and for allowing us to be uncomfortable and to really think about um, teaching and what we're actually going to be doing. And if we really want to make an impact, this is the way to do it.